Today, I'm going to continue my review of returning Pac-12 quarterbacks. We head down to the Valley of the Sun to take a look at true freshman Jayden Daniels, and I'm going to tell you what I think. Welcome to the film room. Hey everybody, welcome to Elite Athletes TV. This is the Quarterback Film Room. I'm Mike Pulaski, former Pac-10 offensive MVP, and I am doing a series on the returning Pac-12 quarterbacks, taking a look at all the kids that are coming back to play to see what we have in store to look at this fall. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get notified every time we have new stuff coming up. If you love talking football, learning about the quarterback position, learning how to coach it, or if you're a fan and just love the game, give us a thumbs up. Also, any comments down below, tell me what you're looking for, tell me what you want to know, and I'm happy to give you an answer. This year, Arizona State, under Herm Edwards, decided they were going to start a true freshman quarterback in Jayden Daniels. He was a kid who was the top dual-threat quarterback coming out of high school. San Bernardino, Cajon High School, passed for 14,000 yards, rushed for almost 4,000 yards, threw 70 touchdowns, ran for like another 40. Kid was unbelievable in high school. And so Herm Edwards had an opportunity to play him early as a true freshman this last season. And so he pulled the trigger, put the true freshman in the game. And if at the beginning of the season you told me a true freshman quarterback was going to throw for 60% completion rate and have only 2 interceptions and have over 3,000 yards passing, I'd have said, yeah, do it, absolutely. Nobody knew that coming in. They knew he was talented, knew he was good, but they didn't know how he would proceed within a college offense. As I review Jayden Daniels, a couple things I want you to keep in mind. A, Arizona State's offensive line was not very good last season. They were especially rough at the tackles. They had a true freshman tackle starting on one side and a senior starting on the other, but they weren't solid at that tackle spot. And as a quarterback, that makes it really tough to perform, makes that clock get really fast, makes you go through quick reads. So keep that in mind as I go through a review of the film. Secondly, let's also remember Jayden Daniels was a true freshman. And so as a true freshman coming into that college level, really hard to compete and really hard to get up to speed. Had camp, was thrown right into the mix, and I think performed really well for a true freshman. But we're going to take a look at some film. I'm going to break down technique, mechanics, reads, decision-making, all those things that you need to play the position. We'll talk about arm strength, the whole 9 yards. But we'll take a look at college film right now, a couple games, a couple different throws. I'm not looking at his whole body of work. That would take hours. But I'm going to give you some examples of things that I think he did well, things I think he needs to improve on, and things he has to do to become a high-quality Pac-12 player. Let's hit the film. So let's start here versus Colorado. And I want to talk about a couple things that are particular actually to young quarterbacks in a game. And as I told you, offensive line does not make him feel comfortable in the pocket. But young quarterbacks need to learn to bring their feet with their eyes to throws. So here against Colorado, you can see that they're playing what looks like pre-snap to be a cover 2. Corners rolled up, safeties up high. Now this guy is in a stance where this could become a cover 6, meaning these guys are each playing quarters, and this guy has a half over the top. But this corner is definitely down low, looking back into the ball, so a zone look to begin with. A-State is going to run a vertical through the middle here and a curl on the outside, sit-downs. And so what they're trying to do is stretch this safety. If he turns and runs with that vertical, then this receiver needs to find a hole behind this hook to curl player, and quarterback can read him inside. They also have a cross coming over the top for 3. I believe that Arizona State runs a pure progression read system, and so in order to read this properly, it would probably be 1 down the middle, 2 here, and then 3 there or with the back on the check down. Let's take a look at it. You can see on the snap, right now Daniels is actually reading this free safety, looking to see what he's going to do. Safety's eyes are clearly here. So this becomes an option for you as a quarterback right now. Safety is off the hash, looking down low. This safety looking at that route. This can become an option for you. As a veteran quarterback, if you know that that's going to be your option and that's going to be your throw, you're going to release that as soon as you hit your back step, and you're going to try to drop that in between 18 to 22 yards downfield so that this guy can't get over the top and make a play. As we move it forward, we see safety still way off the hash, guy getting vertical, but a linebacker running down the middle. Now, as a quarterback, if you don't like that, I could understand that. You feel like it's a super tight window. You don't want to throw it into it. So here is your next route. It's right there. It's coming open. This hook defender is running out underneath the flat, so it becomes a cover 6 look like I talked about. So quarters over here and half over here by this safety. So as a quarterback, if you're going to come off this route, you're going to eliminate that. Now you've got to throw this on time. You've got to make that read and stick your foot in the ground and do it. This flat defender is flying underneath this curl, so that is out of the picture. But look at all the space that opens up in here. As a quarterback at the Pac-12 level, that is more space than you should ever need to complete a route. But you have to get through your progression quickly enough to recognize what's happening here. I think as a young quarterback, sometimes Jayden Daniels didn't recognize things quickly. And so we'll move this forward. And you can see what he does. Because his feet are locked inside, he's throwing across his body here. He's stepping down and in, but throwing across his body out. That's hard for a quarterback to be accurate. And generally what it tends to do is it makes you throw the ball low. As you cross your body, you bury the ball back down into the left, which you can see is exactly what happens here for Daniels. And so getting to that read quickly, understanding what defense is trying to do to you, seeing it, and getting to the open receiver is essential. And he wasn't quite on page for this play. We'll take a look at it from the end zone real quick, and I'll show you the feet. So as we drop, you can see Daniels keyed that safety. He came off of him, so he knows he's coming back to this inside, looking for that vertical route through. This linebacker is covering that. So as soon as he picks up that flat defender that buzzed out, he should know he's coming inside to that hook route inside. But he doesn't get his feet all the way open. You see how he is leaning back, weight's going this way, foot's planted in front of him, really an open toe too. Don't like that a lot. But because of that, his weight is back. He's going to cross his body and end up burying that ball into the turf. Run it back for you shortly here. As he makes a step, because he's late getting his read, he ends up throwing across his body. When you throw across your body, you snap it off low and away, which is exactly what happened that time. And I'll run it through for you one time full speed, and you can see it. That low and away inaccurate throw is part of not getting through your progression or not anticipating quickly enough to be accurate and have the proper footwork on your stride to deliver an accurate pass. Next play. Now we're going to talk about reading speed and getting to the right receiver again. Colorado coming out, showing that same cover 6 look. Press down, high half. He's going to be a quarter. He's going to be a quarter. This guy's going to match and run through with his receiver. And so it's a 6 look. It could be a match look to the outside. But it's every zone becomes man at some point when a guy runs through your zone. This is a zone-man combo with that safety over the top. So what Arizona State is going to run is a hook here, a flat to the outside. You're going to get a crosser here, and the reason they're running this crosser is they want to affect this safety. In a cover 6 look, this safety, if something gets vertical at him, he locks and runs with it. And what that's going to do is clear that shot, the deep shot, one-on-one against this man. So Daniels needs to recognize right away this needs to be his key. As soon as this guy jumps, he knows he's got this seam route coming down the middle from number 2 to the top side. We'll run it through here. Right now, with this safety drifting, eyes locked on here, Daniels needs to see that this guy's going to come open. His feet are square. He's not backpedaling. He's not turning to run. So he's already beat with this route. Outside leverage by the man player in this case means that they've got this big shot. Daniels is just hitting his back step. He should be taking one hitch up and letting that ball rip to the home run down the middle of the field. Instead, he's a little bit late on the read, and he overthrows his receiver. He had 10 yards of space behind that safety where he could just take him to the middle of the field or give him a catchable ball, but instead, he missed him on that route. So from the end zone look, you can see that A-State is running this progression system. And so watch Daniel's head. Initially, he starts off looking this direction. Remember, the big ones are back here. So he's starting to his left, and then he's scanning from left to right on the field. Difficult, especially for a young quarterback to do under center. And again, we talked about it. That offensive line doesn't give him as much comfort in the pocket as he would like as a quarterback. So as we move forward, he comes back, but he notices late. So now he's got to get his feet in position to make the throw. That's one hitch. That's two hitches. So he's late, and he's got to put everything he's got into this. And you can see, in the end, overthrows his receiver, misses him down the field. When you have a receiver that far open, nobody over the top, you can lead him with the ball. You don't have to overthrow him. Let him run to the ball out here, and that way he's still running away from the DB. That was the deepest guy in the coverage. And so as a young quarterback, you've got to learn those things. And remember, Jayden Daniels, 6'3", 175 at the start of the season last year, probably 170 at this point. And his arm is going to get bigger. He's going to have more comfort, but he had to put everything he had into that ball to try to put it out there, and just ended up overthrowing his wide receiver. So very next play, Daniels comes back unfazed, gets a similar look with two high safeties up here. This corner starting to sneak off, and they're in doubles here, so 2 by 2 in terms of receivers. Now, as they go in motion, you can see the player runs with him across the formation. And so they're bumping strength out to that wide side of the field. He doesn't go all the way out, so that tells you it's some kind of zone, some kind of combo that they're playing here. Remember, Colorado, we showed you before, they like to play a lot of match. And so these three guys are going to get picked up somewhere in here by those four guys they're hoping. And then corner down below on wide receiver, this safety looking in the backfield. So Daniel's progression on this is going to be one. You're going to see a post, a bang 8 post, a seam post, glance. There's a bunch of different names for it. But a glance there. And because he gets a look where this safety is going to invert and this corner is going to open, this comes open right now. So when number one in his progression is there, he is absolutely spot on with accuracy and arm strength. We'll take a look at it. Still a little late on the throw. I'd like to see him not take that second hitch. This is supposed to happen right now, and he's not comfortable with this safety clearing his route. He should know with this guy's feet coming in right here, when he hits that back step, either he takes one hitch and drills it, or he sits and waits on it and throws right off of his ear to that vertical route upfield. Now, that said, he had the time, had the space, so that extra hitch didn't kill him on this, but ideally, as a quarterback, you'd like to do this off of either a plant and step rhythm throw or timing throw, or off of a single hitch. You see one hitch, and again, so 2 hitches into that throw. He didn't need them. Guy was open prior to that. And that's all about confidence in the route, confidence in what you're seeing. So here's a great look at being on time, being on rhythm, finding the right read, and throwing a strike. Colorado is running what a lot of teams are calling 53 now. 3 guys across the top, all playing thirds. And then they're actually running 5 underneath. So this guy's going to be underneath 2, 3, 4, and 5 underneath. So 8 in coverage, only rushing 3 up the field. It gives you time as a quarterback. You can feel more comfortable in the pocket. This time, Daniels recognizes he's got a go route on here and then a split seam route going up this hash. They're going to be working off this linebacker as he drops out. And as this linebacker gets width, Daniels recognizes it, and it looks like he actually gives him a little bit of a head pump for the safety to try to hold him and then drops it in, but he does it on time. And that's the key for young quarterbacks is seeing the read, processing it, and getting the ball out on time to let your athletes make something happen. So you can see right there, he's already wound up. His guy is just coming out of his break. Daniels recognizes this right now. He sees that this is out, safety, or the corner in this case, is high. This guy's outside, so as soon as this guy breaks off the linebacker's ear, he's going to have that throwing lane to throw into. So he's sticking this foot in the ground with purpose and intent of driving this ball home. You can see right there, open window, throws an absolute dime. His guy isn't quite open yet, not from behind the linebacker, but he's throwing him open with the football. And it's a great throw, great completion, big chunk of yards. That's the kind of progression you want to see in a young quarterback. And you're going to have times where it's fits and starts. You see it, and then you don't see it. And so you want to see more of that than not. Okay, let's switch games now. You've got Cal, Arizona State. This is in Berkeley. And so on this route, what you're going to get is this receiver is going to essentially be a block or a pick upfield. You're going to get a bubble route over the top by this receiver, intended to be like a screen. You're going to get a bench route from this receiver and a crosser across the back. Benjamin here, who, by the way, stud running back, and proof of what I've been saying about the offensive line is this guy was phenomenal 2 years ago, last season, did not have a great year. But he's going to give a play fake. Daniels ducks, and he's going to come out wide. They're going to have a blocker out in front, so it's not a naked boot. He's going to have somebody up front to shield him to throw. But the way it's designed, and from what I see in the blocking, there's no telling because this is the true freshman. Looks like he's meant to stay on the run. He doesn't do it on this play. And I want to show you, in terms of reads, what needs to happen as a quarterback. So we'll move it forward. You'll see the play action on the backside. And then right here, I talked to you about the route tree. This is going to be a bench. He's running to get covered. As a quarterback, you need to see that, understand that, and come off that throw. So now your options are swing to that screen look. You've got the pick or the block. It's a full block here. But you've got somebody out in front running interference so you can dump that ball. Or you've got to know that this is coming across into an open window as well. So you either keep coming, throw this one, or if you're going to pull up, you pull up to drop this ball into this open window. Instead, what Daniels does is he continues outside, pulls up. When he does, his tackle, who was preparing to block out here, gets outflanked. This is Evan Weaver, really smart football player, and gets upfield. Now you can see this route's coming open right here. He should be able to throw that route. He also still had this one, but he squared his shoulders. So he should be delivering this ball right now, but he decides not to, and he sees Weaver flash. This is where Daniels is really, really special. Now, he should have made those throws first and foremost. If he's playing the position, he should have made those throws. But watch what he can do with his feet in terms of athleticism. Decides it's not there. He just reverses field, turns on the jets, and gets an extra 17 yards. That athleticism makes him so special at that position. You'd like to see him right here decide he's come off this bench route because this is covered, so that's out. If he's decided, he's looking right now out to that swing, to the bubble route, but he's decided, okay, that's out. Now, if he's going to square his shoulders and set his feet, here's his receiver coming into wide open space. So he's got two options here. One, two, he just doesn't like any of them. He doesn't process it fast enough to get the ball to his receiver. But because he is such a special athlete, he decides, I'm just going to take this thing and run, and he makes a huge gain, explosive play out of it. So I show you that play because I think Daniels has the entire package. He can run, he can throw, he's accurate, has a big enough arm. He's going to put on 20 pounds at least, probably 25 by the time he's done with school. So he'll be 6'3", 200, maybe 210 if he does it right, and his arm will get bigger. He'll stay as fast. I think he has the tools to be the all-around quarterback. I don't try to pigeonhole guys in terms of running quarterbacks, pocket passers, but if you want to play the position properly, then you need to play the position. Hit the open guys the way the routes are designed. In that play right there, he had two open guys. He could have executed on that play, delivered the ball downfield. Instead, he had to make something with his feet because he didn't process his reads fast enough. He's just a true freshman. I understand that. The game's coming at him fast. He's going to need to settle, though, and start to see those things and anticipate to make the throws. I got two more plays I want to show you, and we'll talk about Daniels, and then I'll give you my conclusion. But let's get back to the film. Now, once again, versus Cal, you are going to get a three vertical concept here by A-State. What they're going to do is run the wide field player on the go, run this player vertically up the hash, and run a split with that slot receiver. It's really more of a four vertical concept because they end up running a comeback here. As a quarterback, Benjamin is going to come on the crosser here. As a quarterback, your drops have to match the timing of your routes. And so if you're going to throw on these vertical routes, again, I told you before, you want to hit them between 18 to 22 yards. So that's a three quick, stick your foot in the ground, and throw the football. In this case, Cal is giving a two-look pre-snap. You can see two high safeties on the hash, but they do a great job with disguising coverage. You've got press down here, so that looks like man. These guys look like zone players to the top of the field, and this looks like a zone player as well. Could be man if he switches late. But you're going to see on the snap of the ball, this stays man. This safety is going to rotate down. Free safety is going to get to the middle of the field. Corner is going to drop out and cover three. And so you get three. Four verticals versus cover three is a fantastic match. Move it forward here. Motion across. And as you get this comeback, this corner is going to lock on. This safety you can see rotating down. This safety starting to get width towards the middle. Vertical, vertical, vertical routes. Now, when this safety vacates, this corner locked on out here on the comeback, that's an open shot. Three quick, you can hit that. As I move it forward, you see he hit three quick, but then hitched. He didn't decide that he likes this. A veteran quarterback seeing those feet square, this guy in a trail, corner over the top, hooked up here, can take this ball in the middle. Remember, free safety still isn't in the middle of the field. He's over here. So you would check that safety. If you like where he's at, you give your guy a shot going down the middle of the field. Instead, Daniels doesn't like it. Okay, I'm all right with that as a quarterback. If you don't like that throw, if you don't feel super comfortable with it, now you need to settle and reset. But you see, he's already off timing because he ran three quick. And so he can't climb into the pocket because this is all coming at him. He needs to settle and then either decide to throw this one or on the comeback, receiver just starting to break. He's got good position. Let this ball rip to that comeback. That's a long way to cover in the air with that football. By the time he gets into and out of his break, that ball will be on him and it's a completion. But instead, he feels the pressure. He's not anticipating. He doesn't feel comfortable throwing that ball on time. So instead, he holds onto the ball and takes off. Now, he ends up, once again, finding an open guy downfield and making an amazing throw. completion, huge play. So result is fantastic for Arizona State and great for Daniels. The point being, playing the position is playing the position. And so great play, great athleticism, but he doesn't have to make huge plays if he makes his reads and sticks it on time. So this last play I want to show you, and it's kind of a classic freshman mistake. Cal has matchup man here against Brandon Ayuk. This dude's a star. If I'm a quarterback and I get a chance to get him a ball in a one-on-one matchup like that, I'm going to do it. They have a fade route on in this situation. Perfect, except Cal's playing cover 2. 2 is bumped over because they're off the hash, but they have a high safety, cover 2 type safety on top of this fade. As a quarterback, you can't throw a high ball fade with a safety over the top. There's just no room to get that ball in there. Plus, there's nobody else in this formation to threaten or hold this safety. And so he can fly right now to that fade. Daniels likes that matchup, and I get it. I like that matchup too if I'm a quarterback. But even with the safety over the top, he throws that fade anyway. Now, it doesn't end up being an interception because he feels that safety. Ayuk really lets himself get pushed to the outside, and so he ends up throwing this ball out of bounds. So it's a wasted play because he came front side with a 2-on-1 literally here to that front side. And so this is kind of a classic freshman mistake. I'll run it through for you. But you should be keying that safety right now. Okay, I know he's on the front side, even though I've got a fade over the top, and I'd love to get him that ball. This safety's in position to make a play, getting a settle and release by Ayuk, but he lets himself get run out. So I would come back and work numbers into the boundary in this case. Instead, he throws it, but because he's got that safety over the top, he has nowhere to go with that ball. So where do I stand on Jayden Daniels? Well, for me, the jury is still out. Incredible, incredible talent. There is absolutely no doubt about that. His numbers last year were good, but a lot of his completion percentage came off of quick throws and screens. And so he didn't throw a lot of interceptions. That's a huge upside for a young player. But he also wasn't making the best reads. He wasn't on time. He wasn't anticipating. You could expect some of that from a young player. They are going to be slower processing a lot of the time. Will he get better? I think Herm Edwards is a really good coach. He's been around a lot of football. I think he will do everything in his power to help Jayden Daniels improve. I also believe that missing spring ball this year because of coronavirus, and I think not having the summer workouts to get together with his guys, is a drawback, not just for Daniels, but for every quarterback across the country. Not getting those reps in, not being able to play the position, not being able to see things and learn in spring ball is a huge drawback. So in terms of his development, that is going to hurt Daniels this year. He's going to need to review a lot of film, look at what he missed, understand how to anticipate better. He is an incredible athlete. He needs to put that to the side. He needs to focus on making the reads, making the throws, being accurate, being on time, and being intentional with his feet, getting his feet to his throws. If he does those things and learns the game up top, then the extra asset of being incredibly athletic can be a huge tool for him. He can clearly play the position from the pocket. Good drops, good throws, accurate when he's on time, has a nice solid base, doesn't bring his feet together, doesn't do any of the bad, gnarly things that you look at young quarterbacks that you have to break. Technically, he has been coached. He is sound technically as a quarterback. He has enough arm strength to play the position, but he needs to get better at anticipating and reading defenses to make throws. If he can do that, he can be a very special player in the Pac-12. Right now, I'm not going to put him in the upper echelon until he starts anticipating and making those reads on time. Then that extra run makes him a special threat. So we'll see. Jury's out on Daniels, but he has potential to be a pretty special player in the conference. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get notified every time we have new content coming out. Also, give me a thumbs up. If you play the position, if you coach the position, if you love learning about the game, give me a thumbs up. And any questions that you have, give me a comment down below. I would be happy to answer them here. I appreciate you watching. Thanks for joining me in the quarterback film room today. When we talk about quarterbacks, NFL quarterbacks, college quarterbacks, it's all about playing the position. Today we learned about Jayden Daniels in the film.